Data has been uploaded. Mission complete.
Finally, I'm free from my overtime shift. Light pierces the gray sky that the spatial anomaly had enshrouded. Standing under the trees, I watch as the distorted space before me disappears. For unstable, strange anomalies, hunters must promptly investigate and eliminate their energy sources. That's why my workload has increased recently. Are you free to stop by the old house? Why are you there? And when did you return to Lincoln? Why didn't you tell me? Let's meet up. I also need your help with something. The ruins of our old house were cleared away a while back. Why is Caleb there? I slow down as I approach the familiar street on my motorcycle. As I turn the final corner, a rooftop, familiar yet strange, catches my attention. Isn't that where our old house used to be? I park my motorcycle and hurry over. Shocked, I see the home from my memories is standing before me. Oh, hello. The scent of dry wood hangs in the air as I push open the gate to the front yard. I make my way inside and step over the stacks of wooden planks scattered across the ground. A tall figure is on a ladder by the window. Caleb is wearing white gloves and hammering a nail into the window frame.
You're here. The news said the Hunters Association is busy dealing with all those anomalies lately. I was worried you might be swamped with work.
He tilts his head and raises his chin in my direction.
Screw.
I bend down to take a screw from the bag on the ground. I hand it to him, and the electric screwdriver whirs for a moment. Should we really be talking about that?
What do you want to talk about then? Did you eat? What did you have? Was it good?
I raise my hand to smack him, but then I remembered he's still on the ladder, so I hold it steady instead. Did you hire someone to rebuild this place? I look around. The basic structure of the old house has been completely rebuilt. Only some of the interior is still unfinished.
I hired a professional team. They rebuilt it to the point where it's almost an exact copy.
And you're only telling me about this now?
Would you join them if I told you earlier? I might as well wait until the house had taken shape.
So I'm here to be your cheerleader? I deliberately raise my arms to do an exaggerated cheerleading pose. You're so cool, you're so smart. Go, Caleb. Go, go, Caleb. I sound so sarcastic, sorry. Caleb takes off his gloves and taps my forehead.
I can hire professionals to rebuild the house, but the interior has to be done by me.
Sweat dripping from his face, he climbs down the ladder. I pick up a bottle of water from the ground, open it, and give it to him. As I watch as he tilts his head back for a few sips. So, Caleb the master builder finally realized he needed an assistant for the renovation.
I didn't want to bother a busy hunter like yourself with something simple. You might not find...
He reaches past me to pick up a paper hat from the windowsill. I feel a slight weight on the top of my head. Looking up, I can only see the brim of his hat.
That's why I decided to let you paint the walls.
He moves behind me and ties an apron around my waist.
Besides, it's a task that should be done by two people.
My heart skips a beat as he leans down. We make eye contact as he glances up. I lower my gaze and mutter under my breath. I think you got too used to bossing me around when we were kids, so now you want to relive the good old days.
Do you need a reenactment to remember who was actually bossing people around?
He gives me a knowing look, and memories flash through my mind. I feel a twinge of guilt. I used to constantly pester him into helping me with all sorts of things. If we have a lot of walls to paint, if we don't start soon, we'll run out of time.
And since we're on the topic of reminiscence, I actually invited you here to help me remember how this place used to be furnished.
I pick up the paint roller, coat it with latex paint, and start applying it evenly to the wall. This color is similar to the original one.
It's not really popular anymore. I had to visit several stores before I found it.
A question surfaces in my mind. After pondering for a bit, I glance at him. I purposely act nonchalant. What about the furniture? You can't possibly find stuff that's exactly like the original.
I found some old photos that were taken inside the house. I already brought them to a furniture store to have custom pieces made.
I didn't expect you to be so dedicated. Caleb slightly turns his head. His gaze softens as it sweeps across my face.
You don't want me to do this?
I didn't say that. I turn away and watch the roller change the wall's color. Unlike layers of paint, the questions in my mind are impossible to smooth out. Is he doing this just because he misses the past? Oh. The sunset's final rays fall on the floor by the window. They illuminate the tiny dust particles floating in the air. Caleb and I sit side by side against the wall. While the room is still empty, scenes from our life here seem to materialize. If Grandma could see this, she'd be happy, right? Caleb wraps his arm around my shoulders.
Yeah, she would.
Aside from the tenderness in his eyes, a trace of melancholy briefly appears. Not wanting things to get too somber, I fidget with the paper hat in my hands. I fold its pointed tip to inward. Your paper hat is a little boat now.
You're still not tired of this game, huh?
Caleb takes the little boat. He skillfully unfolds and refolds it. The paper in Caleb's hand quickly transforms into a new object. It's gonna be a paper crane, isn't it?
Give me your hand.
A paper crane lands in my palm. I gently touch its wings with my finger. When I was little, I used to pester you about folding 1,000 paper cranes for me. Realizing I've unintentionally brought up the past, I quickly shift to a more light-hearted tone. The ones from before don't count. I'll keep this one safe, but you still owe me 999 paper cranes.
There's no such thing as a free meal.
Who said anything about that? Don't you think your accommodation tonight should come with a fee? 999 paper cranes in exchange for a soft, comfortable sofa is the deal of a lifetime. Caleb laughs as he tussles my hair.
You're twisting my words in your favor, but deal.
Despite my day being hectic with work, I'm unable to sleep in my bed. As I toss and turn, that question keeps swirling in my mind. Even if I asked him, he probably wouldn't tell me the truth. He's having a nightmare. Sounds from the living room make me open my eyes. Caleb? An inexplicable unease washes over me. I sit up in bed before I quietly walk out of the bedroom. A faint moonlight outlines Caleb's sleeping figure. It causes the sounds he's making to be more distinct. Caleb's arm is draped across his forehead. The blanket is only up to his chest while sweat glistens on his neck. Is he having a nightmare? I gently shake Caleb's shoulder. Caleb, wake up. It looks like he heard me. He lowers his arm and furrows his brow. I touch Caleb's forehead. He opens his eyes and his gaze slowly focuses on what's around him. Did you have a bad dream? He averts his gaze, yet he holds my hand that's resting on his forehead.
It was a confusing dream. I can't remember it well now that I'm awake. Go back to bed.
He releases my hand and pats the back of it twice as if to reassure me. As expected, he avoids answering my questions. I sit down on the carpet beside the sofa.
What's wrong?
I'll stay until you fall asleep.
Are you treating me like a child?
It's nice to be a kid every now and then. You'd always sneak me out to go on little adventures after I had nightmares. We'd play in the garden. Caleb looks taken aback for a moment. It's as if he didn't expect me to talk about the memories from when we first met.
Why did you bring that up all of a sudden?
Probably because it was the time when I was most frequently had nightmares. I rest my head next to his. Under the hazy moonlight, we stare at each other. You still remember that place? He turns onto his side and uses his arm to cushion his head.
How could I forget? I wanted to escape to that place as much as you did.
There was a small garden behind the shelter. It only had a few playgrounds worn down by the elements. During the During the Chrono Rift catastrophe, that place became even more derelict because of the rampaging wanderers. But for children, broken slides, seesaws, and swings were more appealing than a shelter filled with crying and fear. And here, I thought you were comforting me because of my nightmares. In reality, you were just using me as an excuse for your adventures.
Luckily for us, you were a very effective excuse.
He tousles my hair.
I really didn't like staying in the shelter. But sneaking out alone to go on slides and stuff felt too childish.
So you made me the immature one.
My job was to protect your childishness, thanks.
Then will you let me protect you after you have nightmares? Caleb is stunned, but he quickly regains his lighthearted smile.
Are you saying you think I'm childish?
Yep. I poke his face. An actual mature person wouldn't refuse to admit they had nightmares. He lowers his gaze. He's looking at my finger that's touching his skin.
If I admit it, will you take me on an adventure?
Smiling, I grab his hand. I know the perfect place for one. The next day, Caleb and I travel across most of the city to reach an area that's become unfamiliar to us. The shelter from the Chrono Rift catastrophe has long since vanished in the city's reconstruction. The roads, nearly devoid of people, become narrower as we walk. Did it get demolished already? I mutter under my breath.
It's okay if that small garden disappeared, you know. These roads have an adventurous feel to them. And if we run into a wanderer, that'd definitely make me forget my nightmare.
I know he's trying to comfort me with jokes, but I'm hoping that the place with our shared memories still exists. If fighting wanderers work, you're welcome to become a hunter. I can guarantee you'll only have sweet dreams.
Okay, but I feel like I heard that before.
What? Becoming a hunter?
The last part.
Several words suddenly resurface in my mind.
I think...
I remember now. You were the one who said it. Lauren, I promise to take you on to a real paradise someday. It'll be a place with only sweet dreams. I move my head dramatically while mimicking teenage Caleb's voice. Teenage Caleb's voice. A hint of embarrassment gradually appears on his face.
Even though years have passed, you still remember that? Did you have a hidden recorder on you back then?
It was our first promise. Of course I'd remember. Caleb pauses. Joy briefly shines in his eye.
The first one.
What? His warm hand grabs mine as he leans me forward.
Come on. Maybe that place is still there.
Resolved, we walk faster toward the end of the alley. The alley emits a faint pinkish-purple glow as I step into that light. The ground beneath my feet suddenly vanishes. God, pretty! What awaited me wasn't the fall I had expected. I'm greeted by a weightless sensation. Throughout this dreamlike floating amusement park, colorful rides interweave with wispy clouds. Enormous planets hang in pinkish-purple sky, they're seemingly within reach. I float within Caleb's line of sight. The light and I are embraced by his gaze. When did this place become a spatial anomaly?
At least it's still a playground. It even looks like what we imagined as kids.
In this weightless space, Caleb floats towards me with effortless grace. It's unlike my unsteady wobbling.
Warning. Unstable fluctuations detected. Please locate the energy source and eliminate it.
This place is huge, and we're just floating around. Who knows how long it'll take us to find it?
Perfect. Now, we have enough time for an adventure. If you don't want to float away, don't let go of me.
Let go. He takes my hand, and I instantly feel that familiar gravity. I think I can walk on thin air. Holding Caleb's hand, I take a few steps, and then I find myself jumping for joy. Caleb, I feel like this place was made for Eval.
I'd rather believe this place exists because of our promise.
He leads me through the air as brilliant, colorful amusement park rides float around us. Each one seems to be capable of bringing endless delight.
This does feel like a place where only sweet dreams could exist. Is there anything you'd like to try?
I look around, but my mind inappropriately leaps to that amusement park in Skyhaven. My heart aches with inexplicable pain. The memory suddenly rewinds to the moment when his lips brushed against my ear. Ooh! That burning sensation returned. I lower my gaze and point to the least conspicuous attraction among all the rides, the merry-go-round. I want to ride that one.
You're not interested in the thrilling rides? You dragged me to each and every one of them last time.
That's why I want to go on the ride we didn't get to. Oh. Thank you for the raid, Kira Kira. Caleb is stunned for a moment. A thin veil of darkness appears in his eyes.
So you won't be reminded of that Skyhaven amusement park. Alright.
Caleb carefully tightens his grip on my hand and walks towards the merry-go-round. A gentle, ethereal melody drifts through the air as light on the merry-go-round turn on one by one. I sit on a white carousel horse while Caleb takes his black one next to me. Do you remember the first time I went to that little garden? There was only a broken toy horse lying on the ground.
You looked very disappointed and asked why it couldn't be a merry-go-round.
Then you used your evol to make the toy horse float. You let me sit on it before you spun it around.
Unfortunately, I wasn't good at using my evol back then. The horse did one spin before collapsing.
Oops. The horse rise and fall in a steady rhythm, and our gazes meet at shifting heights. As my white horse slowly rises, I look at him. Caleb, I wanted to ride this because when I think back to those days, everything seemed more pure.
What do you mean by pure, exactly? If I could, I'd go back to those days. Two people who met in a shelter. They were growing up together, without being so close to each other.
His black horse rises, and our positions are reversed. As he looks at me, a somber fire grows in his gaze.
That's my idea of purity.
As the carousel spins, the colorful horses blur into swirling, indistinct shapes. In the center of my gaze, only his face remains in focus. But you also miss those days when we were with Grandma, didn't you? Why else would you rebuild our old home and try to make everything look the same as it did back then? The music ends, and the merry-go-round stops spinning. The black and white horses return to their original positions. We make eye contact.
Because I keep having nightmares about it being blown up.
No more blowing up for you, Caleb. No more. The calmer his voice is, the clearer the unconscious sounds he made during his nightmare in my mind.
I thought the nightmares would stop if I rebuilt our old home.
My heart cries out in pain as if an invisible hand is squeezing it. I jump down from the horse and step forward to embrace Caleb. Could have told me sooner. Caleb freezes. He then slowly wraps his arms around my back, and they tighten around me.
I miss the past. I really do. But I want more than that.
In his embrace, I look at him. It won't be just the past. Didn't we go on an adventure?
Yeah. Any adventure we have here will turn into sweet dreams at night. Right?
Oh my god, they're so sweet. My hunter's watch suddenly sounds an alarm. The energy source has appeared. Caleb points at something nearby.
Is that it?
I look in the direction he's pointing in and see a tiny paper crane. Its colors are illuminated by light as it glides diagonally above the clouds. In this weightless space, it seems carefree as it flies freely. I'm surprised a paper crane is the energy source for a massive place.
Maybe it contains all the wishes and energy of the person who folded it.
Caleb says this somewhat thoughtfully. Then he immediately lowers his head, and talks with his usual tone.
Didn't I also use a paper crane to get myself one night at your place?
You promised me 1,000 cranes. Don't try to get yourself out of that. He laughs, grabs my hand, and pulls me towards the clouds.
Let's deal with your mission first. Then we'll go home so I can continue making them.
You're so cute. If a wonderland where sweet dreams become a reality really exists, then our tightly clasped hands as we run and the smile on Caleb's face will appear in my dreams time and time again. You good, Caleb? At the cloudy edge of the amusement park, We catch up to the paper crane. I reach out, and it lands in my palm. Once I remove its energy, this place will disappear.
You're having second thoughts?
Does anyone want a Wonderland to exist for a short period of time? Especially one that only offers sweet dreams.
The old garden from our childhood never gave us any nightmares, right?
I pause and turn to look at him. His gaze is bathed in a soft light.
Whether a dream is good or bad depends on the people who appear in them. If you're in every dream I have from now on, it's okay if this place disappears.
Oh my god, he's so cute. Ugh. It feels like soft, fluffy clouds have wrapped themselves around my heart. An expanse of tenderness protects it as it races with joy. Oh my gosh! He's so handsome! Because of our resonance, the energy within the paper crane transforms into countless shimmering particles that slowly flow through our bodies. As they disperse, the clothes that Caleb and I are wearing unexpectedly transform into elegant formal wear. Is this what it feels like to be in a fairy tale? Oh my god, the way Caleb's looking. I'm like blushing. Caleb smiles and pulls me down to lie beside him. The clouds part as our bodies sink, and they quickly envelop us again.
Then, let's stay in this fairy tale for a while longer.
I raise my hand, my fingertips touching the soft, wispy clouds. The delicate strands dissolve into nothingness. This magical place is slowly fading away. I decided to say the words that have been swirling in my heart for so long. Caleb, an old little garden can transform into a breathtaking wonderland one day. And even when you rebuild an old house and make it look exactly like it did back then, you'll realize everything inside is new. He raises his hand and slowly intertwines his fingers with mine.
Relationships between people can become something new as well, right?
Only if that's what you want.
I want it.
The fading clouds pass through our joined hands as midsummer's radiant glow sets the sky aflame. And the person beside me shines as bright as summer's morning sun. Oh. Everything... Oy.
Let's...
Okay. They really need to work on the timing of these... of the text. Everything we've experienced today will appear in my dreams.
make this dream even more unforgettable.
Release the paper cranes I folded and let it drift into deep space.
That paper crane will be lonely if we leave it as is, though. You wanted me to fold you 1,000 paper cranes when we were kids. What about now? They won't just be in deep space. They'll live on in my dreams.
Oh my god, they're so cute!
With you.
Aside from the paper cranes, is there anything else you want?
Of course. I want to have a place in your heart that's different from before. I want to share every adventure with you in the future, with this new role. Is that okay?
Yes. That's the future I hope we'll have, Caleb. Oh, so beautiful.
Want to do something more adventurous?
You already know my answer. My god, it's so magical.
Adventures that only existed in dreams have become today's reality. Hold on tight. The train is about to leave.
Once we leave this place, we will fulfill our vows to each other.
Aren't we already doing that? The future is right now.
Oh, cute! After the dreamlike amusement park disappears, the true appearance of the area is revealed. Coincidentally, the small garden had been used to build a real children's playground. On this afternoon with clear skies, sunlight bathes the small yard. Wearing a wide-brimmed straw hat, I crouch down while holding a young sapling. Caleb's shadow falls over me as he holds the shovel. He puts soil into the small hole he dug for the sapling.
That's good. Let it go, and we'll see if it stands.
I slowly release the sapling, and it doesn't fall. Under the sunlight, its tender green leaves seem to glow. I heard saplings grow incredibly fast. They might be taller when you visit again. Caleb hands me a watering can before picking one up himself. He crouches down beside me to water the little sapling. It's a shame the tall pagoda tree is gone. We used to measure our heights against it.
When you were worried about not growing tall enough, you'd stand under that tree every week. I had to carve a mark for you with my pocket knife.
Caleb sets down the watering can and presses his fist against his lips.
Let me tell you a secret. I was just messing with you when you thought you were growing taller. You couldn't see what I was doing, so I just carved the mark a little higher. You never noticed.
Just patting her ego, right, Caleb? Making her think she's a little taller than she actually is. Really, Caleb? At this point, you've been messing with me my whole life.
But you grew taller in the end, right? So it doesn't count.
Sure. I toss aside the empty watering can and try to tickle Caleb, but he quickly catches my arm. He's such a cute laugh. Caleb sits on the ground in the small garden. One hand is propped up against the earth while the other arm is wrapped loosely around me. He tilts his head back to gaze at the sky.
You're right. Too bad the pagoda tree is gone. It could have backed up my story.
My hand pauses before resting on Caleb's shoulder. Don't be sad just yet. This little sapling will grow too. It'll witness many things.
Good.
Caleb raises his hand and plays with the necklace I gave him.
We'll wait for it to grow up together.
Oh, that was so cute. Oh, I love those two. Let me get that wedding dress and that ring.